My name is Kay, and this is my Cave of Possibilities. I have yarny nitty stuff to the left of me, cross stitch over there to the right of me. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Princess says hi and hopes you are all serving your cats like good humans should. Shall we get started? Let's get started. It's been 3 weeks since I was able to last record. I am back from vacation last week and it was really quite nice, and we had an excellent time up in Island Park, Idaho. It's about half an hour outside of the west entrance to Yellowstone National Park. Beautiful mountains, beautiful trees, beautiful scenery. It was really quite lovely. Let's start with stitching first. I don't have as much as I normally have, but what are you going to do about it? As usual, when you go on vacation, you think you'll do some stitching and it turns out you didn't. I didn't do much stitching while on vacation. We did have lovely days when we were just puttering around the house, the cabin we rented, doing nothing, but the lighting inside the cabin, not so great. So that's usually why I didn't do any stitching. I should have took some knitting, because that would have done better in the lighting conditions that we had. In the end, I read a whole heck of a lot of Brandon Sanderson's Wind and Truth, the latest one that came out, that I'm kind of, just working my way through a few chapters here and there. Haven't torn through it, just sit down and read for 20 hours straight. I read physically. I don't like audiobooks, so I typically do not audiobook. That aside, I did stitch a few things in the last 3 weeks. The first thing I am going to show to you would be my progress on Lizzy Kate's Christmas by the Letter. You can see there. That is the full set of patterns put together. And since this was not even started when you last saw it, all that you are seeing is all that I have worked on. The MERR are part of the first set of patterns, and I'm working on the Y, Yuletide Comes, in that area, which is the very start of the second set of patterns that it's all put together. I have changed out, I believe this is called for to be white, but I happen to have a Threadworks color floss that I used on one of my other Lizzy Kate patterns where you put 100 patterns all together. So I had a little bit of that left over. So I just started in with that for this border as we're going along. Important bits. This is a 32 count raw gold, I believe. I don't think they do the raw gold anymore. I think you can only find raw opalescence in the 32 count. And as per usual, I am stitching it 2 over 2 with the called for colors, with the exception of the border. So it is coming right along. It's looking pretty good. If I can get this all edited up, I'll probably sit and work on this a little bit this evening. All right. Yeah, you're in the way, Miss Princess. You're in the way. The other project that I have worked on is my Lady of the Flag. I have gotten back to the beading on this lady after I dumped out all the white beads, the kind of white pearly beads. I have to stand up. These. Dumped all them out onto the floor the other day. And so my order came in and I was able to start. So since you saw it last, I filled in both of these 2 panels of the design. Then I believe I had most of this already done, and so everything below the flagpole has been added in. And then way over here in the corner, I started adding the beads right up around here and down and in. So I found with the light set up over on my desk to help me bead, it's easier for me to bead from left to move across this way, just because of the way the shadows throw. And so she's coming along really quite nicely. Sometimes I think that I've talked up how much I'm having a trouble with beading as being way too big in my head, when I'm not really having that much trouble after all. I've got in the habit, so I have a plan of which bead where to eliminate as I go along. A row of 3 becomes 2, a row of 4 becomes 3, a row of 5 becomes 4. So I've worked it out so that everybody fits quite well. It's working out for me so far. I'm actually thinking of taking her with me to the Stitchery X-press retreat, which will be at the end of next week. It starts August 1st. Take it with me next week and work on her, the beading, maybe a day, maybe an afternoon. I find the beading is mentally taxing in a way that just pure stitching is not. So I can't sit and bead on Lady of the Flag as much as I could, as many hours as I could just sit and put in the main stitches. But like I say, she's coming along. I have heard it mentioned with a whole bunch of other ladies who are also working on Lady of the Flag that maybe we should start a tag to have her all finished for the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, which is coming up next year. So there's something to think about. Also this year we get to celebrate the 150th year of my university being founded. And that's a fun word called the sesquicentennial. Anyway, here she is. And as I said, that's it for the stitching. I did way more reading than anything else while we were on vacation. We had a great time in Idaho, Island Park in Idaho, at Island Park. We did some hiking. We went and hiked around the overlooks for the Mesa Falls. Absolutely beautiful. One day we were brave and went into Yellowstone National Park. I do not recommend going to Yellowstone in July. That was a mistake. We tried to get there early. We hit the gates at about 7:30 in the morning, but by that time it was already over with. It was a mess. The backup was forever. We had originally told the family there were 3 cars of us originally headed to Yellowstone. We said, okay, we're going to go down to Old Faithful first thing so we can meet up and, just kind of do our plans from there. And so as we were doing that, I was in the car with Dad, and Dad had the brilliant idea, well, let's just go north first because everybody's going south to Old Faithful first, so we'll go north. So the two other cars stuck to the plan and went to Old Faithful, and we went up to Mammoth first. So that was fine. We found the parking place at Mammoth. Of course, it was less crowded because fewer people were up on the north end very first thing in the morning, but that just meant that we missed the rest of the family the entire time. So I didn't get to wander around Yellowstone with my nieces who haven't been there in, well, the last time they were there, they were very, very small chillins. One was not even born yet. So I didn't get to see Yellowstone or Old Faithful with them. Mammoth was beautiful. They had a little bit more water on them than the last time I've seen them. I do recommend, if you're going to Yellowstone, either go very early in the season or very late in the season. Those tend to be the best times. Of course, it's a little colder. It might snow on you, but there are fewer people. Anyway, we eventually did make it back to Old Faithful, where the big area where there's lots of parking and stuff. The parking lots down there were almost full to the brimming, and it was just a case of absolute luck. We happened to be going down an aisle when somebody was pulling out, so we just swapped 1 for 1. Absolute luck. What else did we have happen? Oh, one afternoon we were just sitting at the cabin doing whatever, and sister-in-law said, I think there's something out there. And we're like, yeah, whatever. And so she's like, I'm going to go out there and see what's out there. And so I said, well, put your shoes on, because I'm the practical one, and I'm put your shoes on. So she went out there, and then she came right back, and there were moose passing through sort of the backyard, past the back of the cabin, passed up the side, headed towards the river, which was a little bit ways down. And so we got some lovely pictures of some moose. One afternoon, we went over to Island Park Reservoir, and my one brother has a bunch of inflatable kayaks. He uses them for white river running, sometimes rapid, sometimes not. So he inflated those, and we had a great time going out and back on the reservoir. The littles loved it. They had a great time. While we were at the reservoir, we noticed way up on the hill on the mountain was something. So later in the afternoon, we decided we'd go up there and have a look at what it is. It turns out it's an FAA installation to help guide planes in their paths across the country. So that was kind of cool. We were a little surprised that you could just walk right up to this thing and walk around it, and we did see a sunset, which was really lovely. Dad wanted to see stars, so we pulled out our camp chairs and sat down, and it was very, very cold. We were 10,000 feet up at this point in time. Island Park is about 6,000 feet. The top of the peak that we were at was just shy of 10,000 feet. It was up there, up a dirt road with all the twisty turns and hairpin corners. So we saw the sunset, and the next day we went and saw, what did we see? Oh, the John Slack cabin, which was built by one of the settlers. He was very short of stature, about 4'11", and so the entire cabin is sized just perfectly for somebody who is 4'11", being 5'2" and only 3 inches taller than he is. I thought it was fine. Didn't seem any too short to me. The rooms felt, well, they were smaller because of the time in which they were built, but they didn't seem overly oppressive or small. And while we were there, we crossed a bridge. This is up at Big Spring, and we took a picture of like the biggest trout I have ever seen. This trout was a monster. He probably is living the good life because there's no fishing off the bridge or into this stream right where he lives. But he was a big old monster trout. So I'm looking at, some of my pictures on my phone. If I'm a good kid, I will throw some up into the what's-its as I am talking, but no guarantees on that because I am a ditz. Let's see, so that really does wrap up everything I've been up to in the past 3 weeks. Since I was gone on vacation, I didn't watch as much Flosstube as I usually do. I was already behind about 100 or so shows, I guess you would say. And then when I came back, added everybody else in who had, posted since I was away. That, pushed us up to 300-400, and at which point I was like, I can't watch everybody, so I just deleted everything out that I hadn't seen while we were on vacation, and started the list over again on Saturday morning. So I'm about 24 hours behind, and that's usually where I like to be when it comes to watching Flosstubes, is about 24 hours behind. The silliest thing I have for you guys, I was over to Target to pick up some kitty litter for Miss Princess because she had run out, and I noticed that these are some of my favorite pens, the G2s by Pilot, and they had a pack all purples. There was also a pack of all pinks, which is equally wonderful, but if you need a pack of all purple pens in various shades, Target has got them for you, and maybe even Walmart. I haven't been to Walmart. Anyway, there is that. So that's sort of what I've been up to for the past 3 weeks. In the next 2 weeks, coming up, not this weekend, but the next weekend, like I mentioned, is the Stitchery X-press retreat. I'm so looking forward to that. I actually have to work that Friday, so Sarah, our Stitching Kingdom, she's going to save a seat. My best friend Lisa actually is going to be able to go up there when the thing starts, so she'll save us a seat. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of my friends and meeting a few more people, so this is really quite excited for that. Looking forward to that so very much. I need to pull my flosses so we can play left, right, and center with floss skeins. Is that everything? That's probably everything. I'm pretty sure this will be really, really short once I edit out all the pauses while I pick up my stitching and move it around. So I hope you guys are doing okay. Hope summer's treating you nice. Hope winter's not being mean to you for those of you in the southern hemisphere. Remember, kindness costs you nothing. One step forward, one step up. Hugs and stitches, everybody. Bye!